Hello, and welcome to today's webcast. My name is Steve Ravuki, and I'm the Solutions Expert at Swets. Do you ever feel like you're caught in a tug of war? Library budgets are shrinking. Patrons want more resources. You need to find a way to really keep everybody happy. Whether you're faced with the task of renewals or simply just need to give a status report to management on your subscriptions, you need to know what you need to know in order to make informed decisions. In the past, have you just been going on a gut instinct? Well, now here's a way through SwetsWise Selection Support to allow you to make data-driven decisions when it comes to your journal subscription management. The agenda for today is fairly simple. We're going to go about talking on spending trends, looking at things that have been going on in the industry, and really seeing where some of your biggest budgetary pain lies. Second, we'll take a look at before and after, really where selection support can come in and help you with a lot of the things that you're currently working on that may be taking quite a lot of time. Third, saving time or money used to be the case. Usually it costs a lot of money to save time, or to save money you'd have to spend in a lot of extra time. So now we want to take a look at maybe saving both time and money. Finally, we'll focus on a few different kinds of ROI beyond our traditional definition. Today's session should last no more than 30 minutes, and we'll allow some time for questions at the end if anybody has any. So first, let's take a look at some spending trends. Looking at a study that was done by the Association of Research Libraries back in 2011. Here we have a breakdown of library expenditure. And you see this pie chart with this bar graph, and really taking a look at the light blue section, especially towards the middle of your screen. You'll see that materials make up about 43% of the library budget. And of those, or really of the overall expenditure, we see 29% is made up of serials alone. If we put some numbers to this, the people who participated in this survey, there was about 126 members. And looking on average, it was over $10 million that was devoted to serials across ARLs. How do you know what's being used, what's not being used, and what decisions can you make? Most importantly, are the decisions you're making based on a gut feeling or based on data? So, if we take a look at things that you're currently doing in collecting your information, you may be collecting usage data once a year, several times a year, but really the process that's involved is a little bit tedious at times. If we start towards the top of the screen, you're looking up the URL for the site, or you may be referring to a spreadsheet or a document that you have saved on your system. Got to find the username and password to enter in the information. Then you've got to find out where they've stored all the reports. Anything from JR1s, JR1As, all the way down to book reports, database reports. Then you've got to download each one. You could have 10, 15 Excel spreadsheets just for each provider. Then you've got to compile all that information into something that you can use. But then you just have usage data. I'm sure you also need to keep in mind the price that you paid for each resource, and then look at all of that together. But that's just one platform. Then you're starting again at the top, and you've got to do this all over again. But what if we were to take some of that process out, layer all of the steps on top of each other, and really just offer you a quick way to spend more time analyzing your data? That's what selection support is all about. So why even track usage? I mean, people request things and that's that, right? Well, not quite. As I'm sure you know, usage data just gives you information as to how often that full text is being used. What if you could add in, however, some additional information, really to set some sort of a benchmark or to really give you some more analysis? Let's say we add in some pricing info to give you a price per use. This could really help you compare resources in an even way. Granted, all journals are not created equal, and you can't necessarily judge the scholarly reputation of a journal just by its price. What if we were to add in a neutral factor, like the Simago Journal Rank or the SJR, as an impact factor? This can help you take into account the number of citations the article has received and really give some weight to your evaluation. Plus, the amount of times that you collect usage in a year can really have a severe impact on the results that you get. Is once a year enough? Do you need more than once a year? What if you could view monthly statistics to see trends that are going on, to see certain times of the year, or certain publications that may be accessed more often than others given different time periods? All in all, what is the cost of not having this data? You'll have decisions that you've made, but they may be things that you can't justify, things that are based on a gut feeling or just on what you've done in the past. Also, you run the risk of overspending and really struggling with your budget for your expenditures on serials. Just saying that, oh, we need this publication may be different than being able to show how it's being used. So we look at saving time or money, but really saving time and money because you can do both. Really, with selection support, you can let us do the heavy lifting so that you can spend more time using the data. I know when working with Excel, I've done it a number of times, where if I transpose a cell or I put something in the wrong part of the sheet, I may end up messing up calculations for all sorts of things, and it takes a lot of time to find out where things went wrong. In this case, you can remove human error and have our systems go ahead and collect the data for you. You can even repurpose staff to other projects. Instead of having them simply collect usage data, there may be other more pressing projects that they could be working on. For publications that you receive through Swets, we can pre-populate the pricing so that any of your Swets subscriptions, their price will automatically be reflected within your selection support account, saving you the time of having to input that pricing manually. We've already talked about features that are more than just usage data, like the Simago journal rank, pricing information, and other things that we'll see in a moment, as well as some manual accommodations that allow you to input your own usage statistics for platforms that we might not be able to get as quickly as you would. So really, let's take a look at how selection support works and what you can see in the system. So here I've logged into SwetsWise Selection Support, which lives within the SwetsWise system. If you have access to Selection Support, you'll be able to see the Reports tab and look at usage reports. This has been divided up into three main areas as we look through the overview of the site. First, step one is you see what data you have. You take a look at the information that has been automatically collected by the titles that are included in the different collection platforms. Once all that platform information has been entered, you'll see your title information and then the usage data that has been pulled in from the system. This also gives you the opportunity to add in data where needed, so including price and usage data for all your subscriptions to make the most important decisions. You'll be able to follow the simple steps that are given on this screen to help guide you through the process. And then once all the information is in, you're able to create a number of different reports, not only on the counter standard, but a number of dashboard and journal reports as well. So here, if we go into the data management side, we'll see in our data account that there's almost 16,000 titles that are represented. Here we'll see the total price, the year-to-date usage, the price per use, and where applicable, the SJR impact factor. This just gives us a quick snapshot of a number of publications where all of the data has been captured. This includes price and usage, dividing out to a price per use. If we go down towards the bottom of the screen, we'll start at Manage Collection Platforms. And managing these collection platforms allows you to go in and have the system automatically harvest the data for you. If I scroll up just a little bit, we'll see that in this instance, the institution has selected 40 platforms for automated collection. There's an additional 90 that are also available, giving a total of 130. Additional platforms that are counter compliant, if you don't see on this list, we can work with our team to develop them. But you can also manually add in usage so that the information that you provide the system is automatically included in the reports that we'll take a look at in a moment. Here we see the different collection platforms that this institution has selected, what counter standard they're on, and the number of reports, or really the types of reports that are available for each. If we were to take a look at one of these, for example, what the system will ask you to put in just one time is really where do you go to get the information. So if I come back, let's choose one of these. Let's choose JSTOR, for example. So it's going to ask for the URL, the username and password that you have to get into the site, You'll see down there if there's any notes that are required, if there's something that you want to send to our collection team, certain reports that are specific, or really where you have to go into the site or if your account is set up in a special way. But really, it's just as straightforward as entering in the information that you would use to go in to harvest the data yourself, and the data will automatically be done for you. Manually added platforms allow you to go in and upload usage data for a number of other types of collections, again, so that you can have all of the information in one spot. So the platforms that this institution did not select, so here we see an additional 90 that are available, you'll be able to see which types of reports are available for each. So that really helps us get the information into the system. But what makes selection support as valuable as it is the information that you'll be able to get out of the system. You'll see two tabs here at the top, Reports and Charts. There's 4 different sections of reports that you can download. Starting at the top right, you'll see counter reports, and these 9 reports are the standard according to the counter system for your journals, your databases, platforms, and ebooks. Hovering over the title of any one will tell you what's actually included. So for example, the JR1 will give you the full text article requests by journal title, platform, and collection platform. This will include your SwetsWise subscriptions from your selected collection platforms. The custom reports really take a lot of the information that goes beyond counter into some additional fields where you can customize and really get a good overview of some vital data. There's sets of dashboard reports for both journal and books, and we'll take a moment to look at examples from each of these types. So for example, the JR1. You can go to any of the platforms and download a JR1 for their information. And again, compiling that information according to a certain standard will take some time. But here, looking at all the publishers, all the platforms together, you'll be able to see the information on each title, the DOI, the ISSNs, year-to-date usage, broken down by month, if it's been used as an HTML or PDF, added up together to get usage statistics. As this is an Excel product, you're able to go in and do any type of sort, any type of manipulation of the data that you like, but really all of that will show up in Excel for you, just that simply. Some of the other types of reports that you can find go beyond this information. One of the types of the custom reports that users find to be most useful is the price per use report. And just as it says, for all of the information that's contained, you'll see the publication name, ISSNs, and the basic information. I do want to draw your attention to column J, however. This is a free comment field, where you as an individual can put in any type of comment that you want that you feel relates to the subscription on this title. If there's a certain selector that needs to be notified, or if there's certain notes or comments that you wish to write on there, these will be included in any of the reports that you run. Total usage is shown, as well as the price. The price is divided by the number of uses to get simply your price per use. You'll be able to run a quick comparison. So if we take a look, for example, at this first title here on our list, the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. If we come over here, we see what the price was, the total usage, and the price per use was 40 cents. Additional fields that you can customize. Here this account has a fund code chosen, reference field, maybe a purchase order number or an ILS number. These can easily be customized by your institution. However, if I were to take the sort and flip it around, you'll see the Annals of Human Biology. This title had no uses, so really the price equals the price per use, and that was $2,800. Now we understand that many of these titles come in part of larger packages, but what it should do is really draw your attention to those titles that aren't being used as frequently, and again, not making any suggestions exactly as to what you should or shouldn't do, but it should give you the intelligence to make an informed decision when it comes time for renewals or further actions on your subscriptions. One of the other types that I like to show is a trend analysis, so that you can simply see year to year Here we've chosen 2013 usage year-to-date, 2014 usage year-to-date to really give you comparable statistics. And then a simple difference. Has usage gone up? Has usage gone down? By how much? And again, if we sort this, we see that there's a number of titles that were used in 2013 that weren't used yet in 14, pretty much giving us a 100% drop. But there's some that were used that really have gone up even hundreds of percent, multiple times. So if this first title here on our list, the American Journal of Health System Pharmacy, was only used 3 times in 2013 and was used almost 260 times in 2014, really giving us a huge difference in the way that the usage has been. One other file that I'd like to draw your attention to is really one that will give us an outlook onto how the percentage of the reports are being used. If we take a look at a different type of trend analysis, but really more of a dashboard report. This is what we call the proportional usage report. This really gives you an idea as to what subscriptions that you have, what titles really drive your usage. The way this particular report is organized is you'll see a proportional usage. So it gives you a percentage, and you see the number of usage times that this an article was viewed from this publication. So the first one gives us 4,800, which counts for 1.23% of our entire usage. Each additional publication is going to add a smaller percentage, but this gives us a cumulative look. So if we want to take a look at where 10% of our usage comes from, so if we say 9.93, it's about 10% of our usage. And really, in these first 16 titles, makes up about 10% of our institution's usage. It's pretty significant when you take a look at it. But on the other hand, as you keep going down the list and you see as each publication adds less and less of an impact, that's another way to help determine which publications you may want to either remove or take another look at when it comes time for renewals or decision making. In addition, as I mentioned earlier at the top, you'll see tabs for reports and tabs for charts. The charts will allow you to customize, view different years. This may be monthly usage over a number of years, year-to-date usage, including publishers over a collection platform, the top 50 publishers on a price-per-use metric. You're able to even draw a little comparison, go back 5 years, and eventually you'll be able to see through the number of charts that how many uses you have, the types of things that you'll be able to find. It gives you the ability to select and download these different charts and take a look at the number of reports as well as we come back to the screen. Another one that I'd like to draw your attention to is the Build Your Own Report. And as it says, it allows you to create a report to suit your own needs. So here we see you can choose from your year, choose a month to month if you're looking for 1 month or multiple months, select a level as to how much granularity you need. You can also limit to packages. Now when it comes to packages, haven't gone into this yet, but what you're able to do is not really counting the packages that you purchase directly from the publisher, rather. What you're able to do is roll up titles and make your own custom packages. So for example, if there's a certain department, a certain fund code, a certain professor, however you like to create statistics on an aggregated level, you're able to create your own packages. And these packages, again, allow you to look at things the same way you'd look at any of the titles, getting your price per use, adding up your prices, adding up your usage statistics, and taking a look at things at a different level than just the simple title level. Again, in Build Your Own Report, you can determine what fields you'd like to include and what isn't necessary. And in a lot of these reports, it gives you the option to schedule. So if you wish to schedule, you're able to have this report available for you yearly, half-yearly, quarterly, or monthly. And as I believe I mentioned earlier, Selection Support does have statistics that are gathered on a monthly basis. So you will be able to see things, instead of having to go year by year, you can actually get the granularity and the level of going down month by month and looking at some additional trends and seeing usage patterns across your different subscriptions at different times of the year. So as I come back to the reporting screen, and I mentioned a little bit earlier, the data that you get into the system really by putting in that one-time information, how to go in and get the data, you're able to get a world of information across the different custom reports, counter reports, and dashboard reports for both the journal and ebooks. So as I mentioned, there's over 130 platforms that you're able to find within Selection Support. It's quite a lot of information. And we'll see just, we've seen already the wealth of information that you can find in Selection Support and what that has enabled you to do into making your data-driven decisions. I'd like to give an example. At a recent conference, there was one librarian who was speaking about her institution, and she calculated out a number of hours for different people who were involved in manual data collection. They collected data once a year, so the librarian had spent 24 hours, ER specialist, subscription specialist, and so on. She calculated the value of their time and effort to be over $6,000. If the data was collected on a monthly basis, just extrapolating that time and monetary commitment out, this would cost them about $73,000 and over 1,800 hours to do for the data collection only. By automatically having the data collected for you, this gives you the time to analyze the data instead of spending all that time collecting it. This gives you the insight into trend analysis, again, and make sure that your staff is using their time efficiently and you've repurposed them to the projects that are more meaningful. And really, as with the title of today's session, really helps you make data-driven decisions. Not just a gut feeling, not just I think this would be a good idea, but really having the numbers to back it up. Whether it's any of this information that you would put in a presentation for a budget committee or any type of reporting you would need to do, this is really where you can get that data to help support your decisions. In one instance, we took a look at one institution with 4,000 subscriptions and taking a look, estimating that about 130 minutes are spent for a subscription. With the implementation of SwetsWise Selection Support, you'll see the number of hours and days that are saved. Looking at the dollar amount that's there on the top right gives an incredible amount of time savings that translates into dollar savings. Thousands upon thousands of minutes are saved in terms of payment, cancellation, renewals, new orders, and so on. It's quite a lot of time that the system can save you. And as we saw earlier about the relationship between time and money, we know that both are very important in your day-to-day work. Just to give an example, as we've already seen, here's an example of 3 platforms and what it's like with Selection Support. As you would go in and manually download these different reports from all of your platforms, it's really a lot of information. We see all these different Excel spreadsheets. Then all of them are consolidated into one report. Again, that's more time that's being spent that you're putting all of this information together. But it's more than just the consolidation of the information. With that JR1, this is where there's additional data, like the price per use, subject classifications, custom fields, free text comments, impact factor. All of those are consolidated, or rather added into the consolidated JR1 to really give you an enhanced JR1 beyond what you would find in a simple counter report. So the results should be pretty clear. Before Selection Support, the majority of your time was probably spent on getting the data, really going out to the different sites, collecting the information, leaving you very little time left for analysis. However, after Selection Support, really the amount of time gets reversed. You'd spend little to no time in collecting the data. You would simply log into the Selection Support website, go in and find the information, and then spend the majority of your time on analysis. This allows you to free up time to make your decisions efficiently so that you can use the limited budgetary resources that you have. Just as a recap, I want to mention a few of the takeaways that we stressed during today's demonstration. So as I mentioned, you have 130 platforms that are available for automated collection. This is done monthly, not quarterly, not half-yearly, not yearly, but every month so that you can have the newest data available. With the reports all Excel-based, including your counter reports and your dashboard reports, that allows you to take the information to the next level and customize it as you see fit. While there are customizable charts for presentations, you're also able to go in and create your own data based on what you have in Excel. When it comes to the pricing data, SwetsWise Selection Support will store 5 years of historical pricing data. In any of the subscriptions that you hold through Swets, the pricing data is automatically populated. This allows you to use price per use as a benchmark so that you don't have to spend the time to calculate it, but really take a look at each publication on a level playing field. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier on, we talk about ROI, and we talk about ROI a lot. And the first thing that comes to mind is really return on investment, the standard definition of ROI. So here we can look at price and usage data and really make our decisions as to what we need and what we might be able to do away with. But inherent in that, you need to do 2 other kinds of ROI. The first is rely on information. So as I mentioned also, sometimes it's just a gut feeling, sometimes it's just inertia as to knowing that you need to renew these different publications, or you need to really just go with what's been going on. But here, instead of spending the time in collecting the information, analyze it, go through it, and be able to make your decisions on spending, be able to justify it and show why you're making the decisions that you are. We're talking about things that are going beyond just data. Once you have all of this information arranged in such a way where you can make these decisions, I really think it takes it beyond data into something that is just basically intelligence. This gives you the ability to renew on intelligence. As I said just a moment ago, access to the data is collected monthly, so you'll be able to have the newest information available. We took a look at the trend analysis, and the ability to customize reports to give you what you need really puts you in control of the system and allows you to get the best out of it. So here we see, once again, just the ability to support your decisions. You can collect the data automatically. Well, really, the system is going to collect the data automatically so that you would just simply go in to review it. Spending the time on the analysis, making the appropriate cuts, or justifying your decisions. And you can easily work with your budget and decide where you're going in the time ahead. So what's the cost of not having usage stats? Well, you could either cut something that you need. There may be a popular resource, but it looks to be expensive. If I don't have usage to back it up, I might accidentally cancel it and then all of a sudden not have what my researchers need. Or really, if I'm just making decisions based upon what I think is going on instead of what I'm seeing in the data, it could really lead to some decisions and some choices that would be a little bit tough. So really, this concludes the demonstration that we have for today. There's a few takeaways, though, that I would like for you to notice. First, Swets will be at the ALA, the American Library Association Las Vegas Annual Conference, towards the end of June. Please stop by and visit us at our booth. We're at booth 1455, booth 1455 at ALA. Be sure to stop by and see us. You'll also see that we're present on social media. You can follow us on Twitter, look at our Facebook page, or visit us on the web. If you have any questions that we don't have a chance to answer during today's webinar, I do encourage you to reach out to us via email. We have our marketing department's email there, marketing@us.swets.com. Or you can visit us online for more information, as you see there, swets.com. And there's a fact sheet on our selection support site where you can find that and additional information. So I do want to thank you for your attention today. I hope today's presentation was beneficial, and have a good day.